All the tech issues worked out. So, with that said and done, we are ready to begin the next run. We have Ghostrunner, 80% inbounds with Joot. Joot, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Okay, so this is Ghostrunner. I'm Cindorian.
I'm Taartin. I'm one of the moderators, and Joot will be running today. She's also one of the moderators, and also a very good runner. Cindorian, will you just give us a quick rundown of the story?
Okay, so Ghostrunner is about this cyberpunk ninja, as you see, and we are running through this tower after a apocalyptic event has occurred.
Yep, alright, that's basically it. So, then timing will start right after the beginning cutscene, a cutscene that we have all seen way too many times. Right after we killed the poor lad down there, and the community called him Frank. So, you can all say hello to Frank, and then you can say goodbye. There you go, that's hello Frank. And that's goodbye. Timing will start in 3, 2, 1, start. And there we go. We are
Joot is
off.
off.
Yeah, we are off. So, Ghostrunner, a bit in general maybe beforehand. It was described by Brian Naudo as a 3D Celeste and how the dash interacts with us, which I think is a perfect description, so I don't mind just copying that. And you can already see that we are flinging us a bit around and not just merely walking. And that is a good point to already talk about the checkpoint reset. You can see that Joot was jumping into a ball, then screen faded and appeared on top. That's because we hit a checkpoint and then just reset it and then respawn up top. Checkpoint resetting will also be helpful in a lot of instances where we get to the end of a room faster. So right at the end here, you can see another checkpoint reset to be immediately at the end. And that was the first level. So it's going quite fast already. And 57 at that, that's good. That's already good.
Now onto the second level.
Yes.
A very different stuff. Oh no.
Yeah, that wall can be tricky.
That wall is very rude sometimes.
As you can see, it's not really matching anything because, yeah, we're walking on nothing. Don't worry, this is inbound. Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
The big problem about this route is that if you die here now, you have to... Oh, nice save. You have to reset the entire run basically because you get reset back to the beginning because we skipped all the checkpoints. Now we get introduced to one of the main characters, our helping hand, basically an AI, the dude that created us, and he let us free, and now in return we are letting him free, and we also get introduced to the Cybervoid sections, which are not great, because we do not have our dash, and our dash is very essential for fast movement. All we have are our crouch jumps, which are slide jumps, which is when you crouch while walking, you slide. If you jump, you retain your momentum you gain at the beginning of the slide. And in addition, you can also use Coyote time to gain an insane amount of speed. Well, not insane, but like comparable. That's a great amount of speed you got there, which lets you help clear those gaps.
That start is already really nice.
Yeah, that's great. Getting those ledge boosts, as we call them, is really difficult. The way they work is if you do it right at the edge, usually when you slide, you have friction on the ground, so you lose your speed. But if you do it on the ledge, no friction, no problem, you just retain your speed completely. And due to Coyote time, you can still jump. And, well, now we do that section.
I guess on to the just about the midway point through the Cyber Void. There's not a lot to look at in the Cyber Voids, unfortunately. They're mostly just a mess of ugly texture.
Yeah, a bunch of texture that for recording is quite awful and usually messes the sit rate up. So that's a great thing. And later we will see more of these cyber voids occasionally. But
however, I believe there is we have a bit of skipping to do, but not a large amount, unfortunately, as we cannot go out of bounds. That was determined by the community.
Yeah. Also, you could see that Joot was jumping backwards, they're falling backwards. What you couldn't hear was that she was also mashing the S key, which is called S tapping. If you just continuously tap the S button while flying backwards, you gain a lot of speed, because backwards movement is not speed capped. So you just keep increasing the speed cap each time you press the S button. And at the end of this level, the climb, which has a lot of verticality, as you can already see, you will see a nice application of S tapping. Also, those grapple points. Usually, Jack just holds out his hand, throws a grapple, then pulls himself to it. It takes a while, not a while, but long enough to be worth skipping, which is what we do. If you just attack immediately after initiating the grapple, you skip the entire animation, just get zipped to it, and you also retain a bit of the momentum, which you usually wouldn't do. And each one of those grapples saves 0.2 seconds or something, but it adds up, especially considering how often.
And there was an instance of a bit of an air-ground dash that occurred. It's a little bit of a rough trick, unfortunately. Nothing currently, for the most part, patched out in current. But it is a sort of flying tech in a way, whereas if you slide and dash and then go off an edge, you're able to do a ground dash in the air again. And it just helps retain a lot of speed and momentum while hitting the floor.
Yes, and in the ILs, for levels where you can use dash reset, which is you go into your upgrade menu, you select dash, you select your unselected, and that way you regain the charges. The dash is indicated by the little bar underneath your crosshair. Now we're in another cyber void, so we don't have that. So in ILs anyways, you can use AGD, the air ground dashes, what Cindorian just explained, with the dash reset to literally fly through levels. So, but in the full game run, there's very little application for it.
Yes. Unfortunately, it is a very difficult tech to use, just in general, and it is very limited in its capability when we are running a mostly real-time setting, just without the loads, of course, and that means that when we enter the upgrade menu, which you will see pretty soon here, after we finish the Cyber Void, how we would time it doesn't allow us to abuse it in the way individual levels do.
All right, already two things we need to go over now. For one, the ability, we got Blink, right? That happened. About that, Blink allows you to, as you could see, just dash through enemies. In addition, you have iframes while doing it, so you can just dash through bullets, which is quite nice, and we'll use it a lot in the beginning, especially to clear some rooms faster, to avoid hitting shields and whatnot. In addition, what Joot also did was a little menu overlay. In the end of the Cyber Void, she already pulled up her menu, and this way the game still thinks you're in the menu, and when you come out you press space for jumping. It's conveniently also the same button you use to avoid, to skip tutorial messages. Now we get to the,
and the very safe version of Trustfall. Lots of S-tapping with some momentum, all the way to the end.
I believe. I'm pretty sure this is even double S-tapping. Like where we bind two keys to backwards, and then you just spam both of them. Makes Trustfall a lot more consistent. It's really nice to see. And when I say a lot more consistent, I don't mean it's consistent. There's still a lot of ways you can mess this up. There's a lot of death planes up there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Ghostrunner seems to have a very rhythmic requirement for both S-caps and AGDs, air ground dashes. So a lot of it requires very precise timing and getting in that rhythm, of course, making it very difficult to pick up immediately.
Also, maybe about the upgrades she equipped. You can see we have now 2 dashes, as indicated by the 2 bars around the crosshair. We're really not catching up. In addition, we can now deflect bullets, which was used in the last room a little bit, and it's a really nice thing to have. Sadly, later on, we'll replace it. And this section of the factory is really difficult, because you have to do it fast. Yeah, she does the reasonable thing here. Otherwise, you will die there a lot of the time. It's really rough.
This game is definitely one of the more, I think it's technically precise. You just need to be able to use your hands, know what you're doing, and do it right. Which is all very difficult in this short amount of time to think about every decision. You have to have very good reactions as well, because you must think on the fly when things don't go perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And since your movement is based on how long you hold slide, when do you slide after you dash, and when exactly do you jump, it's never going to be exactly the same. So there's always going to be a bit of variance, and you have to be able to account for that and improvise around that. Now we get to the uplink modules, I think is what they're called. This one slows down time and allows us to go through some rotating blades, which would otherwise kill us. So that's nice. Also, we can use it in the end to skip a fan that it's not intended to be used for. It will be quite close, probably. For me, it's usually quite close. And you have to have really clean movements to get through it in time. So it's not intended, so you only get one shot at it.
This is one of the levels that is very long and also requires lots of precision, making it for one of the more intense but also fun levels to run.
I mean, fun. I would disagree.
Yeah.
I hate it. This is usually where most of my runs die. If not here, then the next. It's like these two, and then we're kind of in the green. Yeah, here's a nice path.
Yeah. There is an intended path there to go through a bunch of fans using those uplink nodes as mentioned earlier, but we're able to just skip all of it.
Yeah, we're real skinny, so we can't just fit through there. And now we'll see another checkpoint reset, I believe. Which
It is an instant reset. And it just puts you a bit forward, gives you a better lineup, and onto this.
That was close.
Ooh.
That was really threading the needle there.
And
Also, we have
reset.
now machine gun enemies and melee enemies. Machine gunners, like reflecting bullet, being able to reflect bullets is nice, but with these machine gunners, you still have, like, you can reflect one bullet or two, but then you won't be able to reflect fast enough. Also, this kill room usually pretty hard, always a pain. Looks quite effortless, if I may say so.
This is the final kill room before the Cyber Void of this level, and it is a relatively easy one, but it can be punishing if you take a faster path, avoiding the checkpoint.
Yeah, and also if you just mess up in any way, you get reset and you have to do the whole jumping over there again. So yeah, and sometimes these Doomfist guys, as we call them, the melee ones, they jump at you. Sometimes they do not want to cooperate. So they're really making it difficult from time to time. But this time it worked out perfectly.
And of course, this Cyber Void is nearly over. It is just a puzzle Cyber Void, kind of a one-off, and very slow in reality.
Yeah.
But it gives us great upgrades.
Exactly. Now we have, in the additional dash we also have now faster recharge, and yeah, you might want to allude to that.
Yeah, don't worry about it. But yeah, so we have our dashes now will recharge somewhat faster, allowing for different setups and different places to activate them. And we have extended our uplinks with that other upgrade. And here's the fan that we were not supposed to skip.
Perfect. Now we just walk backwards through the level. Take a left turn. Also with these things, you're supposed to pick up a slowdown, like a uplink module again, but we can
Which is too fast.
jump over it, yeah. Just jump over it, go through it. whatever.
That's
It
the end of
works
the
out.
level.
And on we go. That's still quite a good pace. God. Alright, so one thing maybe about the dash itself. You have two kinds of dashes when you're on the ground. Oh! We talked about that another time. The dashes, you have one dash when you're on the ground, you only have two dash charges, and then you always get a dash when you're mid-air, which also allows you to go into a slow motion where you can dodge bullets and stuff. And for wall climbing, it is essential that your dash in the air resets after you wall climb, so after you wall run. So you can just run on a wall, dash upwards, and repeat that cycle a bunch of times. And we'll see that in a later level to do a huge skip that is totally inbounds. We all agree on it. So yeah. Oh, that is painful. Yeah, that's when you go up top. You skip the checkpoint down below. Now we have also another kind of uplink modules, the shurikens. They are not really used that much, except for the times when they are necessary. Except for one instance, I believe. But yeah, they're still nice to have. It gives you a bit of range. It allows you to play a bit more from a distance, which is quite relaxing from time to time. Also, the game has a generous auto aim, so you have to aim in the general vicinity of enemies from time to time, and it'll still hit. Right, now another huge fan up. You know, thinking about it, this game, this level has more verticality than climb, probably. Yeah, that's about that.
And here's going to be a fun, interesting spot. We just jump across a gap, heading through the smallest areas, and into a interesting kill room, I would say. And the shield enemies, of course, are here, and they are one of the most annoying enemies in this game, just due to the fact that when you blink into them, sometimes you can get a soft lock.
Yeah, then you have to reset completely the entire level, because even if you just reset checkpoint, you will still be locked in place and not able to move.
Yeah, it is a run killer, and it's very nerve-wracking when that just happen at any time.
Also, next Cybervoid. In this part, it's extremely important not to touch any of the walls, because these walls, especially in the game, there's a sort of wall magnetism, and if you stick to them, you will not gain any speed if you crouch up, or like way less speed, because you'll always have the friction from the wall, and that's really annoying to deal with. So it's essential to really stay in the center there, and it's making this section a bit more annoying than it has to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joot is still absolutely slamming it. Here the wall magnetism is actually helpful, because the walkways are not long enough to effectively really crouch boost. Like there's a backward strategy, but
there's a lot of different ways people do that. I know people do all of this. Everyone's got their own style, and none of them are truly the right way to do it, because basically all of them take the same time.
Alright, the Cybervoid that usually ends my runs. The platform that goes up and down is also something in the next room. They're all on a global counter, global cycle. So if you mess up, it drags on. Because if you miss a cycle here, you'll miss a cycle later. Oh, that was close.
Unfortunate. There's a lot of little things. Every platform in the Cybervoid is very different with how you must slide off it to get a speed boost. And depending on what you do, it can be very difficult or very easy.
Oh, that's not. Oh my. Yeah, right now we have to wait for this platform to come over. Oh god, I hate the bridge as well. Because the edge is all. It isn't a straight line visually, but in the object itself. So you have to know where exactly it ends and where it does not extend, even though it looks like it would. Yeah, I think Joot is not happy with that Cybervoid either.
Yeah, that is probably one of the earliest problems everyone experiences.
Yep.
That and breathe in. two
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
early levels.
Because they're also quite long right at the beginning. Also, run up now. It's a great level. We get
Enjoy it while it
introduced-
lasts. It will not be here long.
Yeah, that as well. It introduces us to a new. Oh, I don't know why she couldn't grab it there.
That's always a fun one.
Anyway, so we get introduced in the next room to new enemies. The robots, instead of just shooting normal bullets, they shoot waves, so you can't dodge to the sides, you have to go underneath it. Sometimes you can go over it, most of the time you will have to go underneath. Which is quite annoying at first, but it feels really good. There we go over it, guys. Then you just do all this up and down to trigger them to go upwards.
Yeah. Level's
And
basically
that's-
over, and
run up.
here we are.
And it's called Run Up because it's the run up to a quite menacing boss, Tom. And as you can see, we have dialogue turned off right now, so as you can see, that thing looks menacing. I believe everyone who has played Ghostrunner will remember their time with Tom. That's not something you forget so easily. So yeah, let's just look how Joot does it.
Would now be a good time to jump in with some donations?
Yeah.
Awesome. We got a $100 donation from Janice SG with a comment, "Don't know what to say, so good luck, Joot."
Oh, thank you, Dennis.
And we also got a $25 donation from Demopoot that says, "Meow." Thank you. Thank you both very much for your donations. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Also, Dennis, member of our, also of the Discord community. Great guy. So, I blinked. What happened to Tom?
Oh,
Where is he?
Tom is already
Where-
gone.
Tom is already gone. God damn it. Okay, so what happened there? What Joot did was Tom has 3 phases, and if you hit the hitbox for the wire you cut in the second phase, during the first phase, you immediately get sent to the last phase, but without some lasers. Usually in the last section there you have a lot of lasers, and it's a bit more dangerous, and in this case though it's like you can't even get hurt, even if you tried, you couldn't. So that's a good way to skip Tom. Oh, just jump through that.
Yeah.
And now, the reason why Tempest is the best ability, especially for speedrunning, but also in general, the multi-kill refund. You hit more than one guy with it, you get your ability back after using it. I think you can already see how that is just excellent. Like, that's just great.
Yeah,
So
Tempest
also
is
Dama
the
City.
room clearer.
Yep. And Dama City now, we are in Dama City now. So past the gatekeeper, we're now in the actual city. It looks a lot more vibrant, a lot more is going on, but the thing is we got places to be, we don't really have time to stay. Oh god, that was such a close thing. That was so
Unfortunate. Oh man. Not too bad, but
Yep.
it's a risky strat that sometimes doesn't go well.
And now you can already see how Tempest just demolished all of them. There was nothing to worry about. Just Tempest twice down. One further dude we could have slashed, but then we would have to walk a little bit, and that takes time. Anyways, Cindorian, what's up, dog?
I don't know. What's up with you?
So, what Joot did there was whenever we have an elevator, you can look upwards, and at a specific time you jump, and when hitting the ground you dash, and then you get elevated completely and faster, and you can enter the level before the timer even starts for that specific level, and that's what we call the up dog.
There are alternate versions of it, but they require you to limit your frame rate, which you don't allow.
Yep, because once you open that door.
Yeah. But this is probably the most hated level in the entire game. I, however, am a avid enjoyer of it, and people should give it more credit.
I believe it's just the most hated because of this level.
Oh, 100%, but it's so fun.
No, I'm also wholeheartedly a hater.
Everyone's a
That's
hater,
everyone.
except me.
Yeah. Look,
No,
there's a reason I focus on individual levels instead of full game. This is the wall climb I meant earlier, when we will see just wall running into dash. This is also inbounds, don't worry about it. New enemy type, and he's gone, and we'll never see him again. That was a sniper. There's 3 in the entire game, and with that wall climb, we skip the other ones.
And the Cyber Void, the most hated Cyber Void in the game.
I remember like texting a friend while doing that originally during my first playthrough. And I was just like, nah, I need a break now. And then I took a break, but the game doesn't save your progress, so I had to repeat the whole thing.
Nah. Oh,
But yeah,
level.
Yeah.
But
Not
yeah,
half
it
as
looks,
bad the second time around.
yeah, it looks like Joot is going for a much safer version of the level. We have a very dangerous and fast version of the Cyber Void, but yeah, it's very risky and difficult to do a lot of it.
Anyways. Oh, who's that? She looks a bit odd. One could even say she's a little bit suspicious. And we get the impression that she's just an imposter, so we'll go after her. We're gonna take her out.
Now this level is very different, just in the way a lot of it runs and what you have to do in it, as we will see in a minute here.
Yeah, it's very weird for the one level that's called faster to be an auto-scroller. But
There's not a lot you can do to speed this level up. It's that first room and the last section. This part here is basically set in stone. ILs, it's a bit different story, but there's not a lot you can do about it.
Yeah, also the slide is extremely janky. Because it's an auto slide, you don't press anything, you still slide. Which is a bit troubling. Okay, camera.
The train camera, lovely.
Yeah. Which is a bit troubling, because if you are on the slide and you hold like A or D while entering the slide, you will still go forward, but as soon as you dash, you will dash to the side, which completely messes you up, and then you have to repeat the whole section.
And unfortunately, you did not make the entire length of the train there, but it's fine.
In addition, like as a little repay bonus, we will not have any signs on top of the train, which are usually there, but we just do it in this way.
Yeah,
Right,
basically
so,
that train is the average movie train scene. On top of the train, signs coming at you.
yeah,
But instead, we skipped them all.
for
now we're
sure
dealing
it's a
with this
little bit
lady.
of, for sure it's a little bit of like a Mirror's Edge homage as well, I'd say. Anyways, we have this lady. The thing is, she's a bit weird, she's a bit smelly, she's rude. She just stares at for like an uncomfortable amount of time. So Joot does the reasonable thing here, and she just runs away.
Yeah, we're just leaving.
Yeah,
We've decided we don't want to deal with her, and we're gonna go.
Yeah, it's a bit too risky after all. So, and that was the hell boss fight. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Don't worry, there's a faster way to do that level. It's just very hard.
And like people say it's consistent, but I still don't believe it.
And by people, we mean our good friend, Yanis.
Janice. Yeah, just him. It's him only. But yeah, that's working out though. Right,
now onto
so-
one of the most technical levels, I'd say.
Yeah. Also in the beginning, you could see that Joot was doing something with the Tetris pieces with her upgrades. That's a surprise for later. We'll get to it when she gets to it. Also, new enemies, the turrets. These guys, when they see you, they just kill you. As soon as you are in those blue lasers, you just die.
There's very little you can do against turrets, but we have found some that we can manipulate.
Yep.
Even just a bit.
I don't think she'll be doing that as far as, yeah.
Yeah, no. That's fair. It's very risky.
Yeah, and once again, it's highly inconsistent as usual. Anyways, now the surprise tool comes in handy. What is going on?
Oh man.
Oh,
We love...
Here you
this
can-
happens sometimes. It's a very common occurrence.
okay, so what
There we
you
are.
equipped was an upgrade that extends the range of Poppeling, so she can reach the drone that's flying up top. And this way you skip a huge part of that.
It's completely possible to reach the drone without the range. It's just very precise. And off that ledge, if you touch the wall right next to you at all, it would just stop you in your tracks.
Yeah. So once again, and opening the menu doesn't take that long. So you know.
On to the just the final section of this level. It is mostly free of enemies, and just a run to the end as fast as you can, as best you can. Little screw ups here and there.
Oh, that's so clean. Such good movement though.
Yeah.
Right, and that's
Oh,
that.
that was a sub 2. Holy crap.
Oh god.
That's very good. Doing that level sub 2 full game is a very, very difficult challenge, and making one major mistake stops that from happening.
Yep. Like a little small mistake is allowed, but nothing major.
Now
And
on
another
to-
nice fan skip. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that fan just does not have collision in the corner,
Of the door.
so yeah.
And we got the door. Perfect.
Oh, nice.
That door is always showing, like it's kind of closed, but it's a bit jammed. But if you go over that trigger a bunch of time back and forth, for some reason it stays open. So,
Stays open
And
just
these
long enough to
dudes-
sneak through.
nice. These dudes like explode when you get too close. So nothing we can do with the sword here. Really, they completely outplayed us with that move. So we'll just have to stay away and use them.
Yeah. We call them pugs because of the noise they make was created by a pug.
Yeah, one of the developers parts actually voiced these guys, at least partially. So, and on to the next Cybervoid section. I believe, yeah, we're already there. And this Cybervoid is so hard. But if you get, like you can see it, you have to land on these and actually get the ledge boost off of it. Yeah. And landing on it alone is like not so simple, but getting ledge boost so while moving is like even harder. A little bit of S-tapping while starting, so you gain more speed. And these doors, or like doorways, we should say, they are not normal doorways. This is more like teleported to another place in the room. So, not to confuse anyone.
Yeah, this is meant to be like a confusing puzzle, but we have it mapped out completely, so we always know where to go, what to do, and how to handle it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Also about the story, we are now closing in on Mara, the big bad, with our handy guy in the back, the architect, the AI we released in the beginning. And those pugs are also Mara's creation, and she also wants that for all of humanity because it's post-apocalyptic outside and normal humans wouldn't survive, so that's her plan. Can't say I'm a huge fan of it, so I'm completely with Jack here. We're close Jack, by the way. So, and this is the Cybervoid where we get the last ability. In case you're wondering what happened to the second, you get it after you kill Hell, but we ran away, so we didn't get that. And the Cybervoid is also where where Jack says to the architect who's giving us the ability that, oh, maybe, you know, you could hack people, what about that? And Jack is like, that's a bit immoral of you, dude. I don't know if I'm a fan of that. So we have some ethical reservations about using that ability. And in the end, he even says, if you don't like it, don't use it. And we will see about that later. So, now we get to a really nice section here in the end. Also, checkpoint resets will be extremely helpful next to the prevalent in the end of this level.
Yes. And these kill rooms all have pugs in them, along with regular enemies that we have to kill, making them very different feel to the original kill chambers.
Oh,
But
that's nice getting that.
ooh, Very good. And we've been introduced to another new enemy in this level. These, I guess, shifters? Is that what we call them?
Shifters, yeah. Look, I call them purple dudes and stuff.
Yeah. But they just sort of teleport away and are quite annoying. Oh, and Joot got best RNG for the last room there.
Sub 340, goddamn. Anyways, so yeah, for those shifters, it's a bit RNG where they actually teleport to. So the last few rooms there are always a bit RNG, which isn't that bad because it's not that huge of a difference it makes. And also, it's like a nice test of skill again, because that's what you need anyways, right? It gives you something to just show that you actually, you can't just memorize stuff that's close to the ground. Also here in the end, don't go to the right wall, that's no longer inbounds. I learned the hard way.
Oh, I remember that. That was a funny day.
Yeah, let's say funny. I was so happy until then. So this shuriken uplink, extremely important to get, although we don't even use it. For the simple reason that, for whatever reason, it extends how long the other shuriken uplinks last. So if we didn't take that, this one would only last, I think, half as long, which would mean we wouldn't be able to clear this entire room with the shuriken.
Joot's taking it quite safe there.
Yeah. Understandably. Also have huge trouble with that one. But yeah, that is only thanks to, I think, Chinese members of the community who figured that out. Also this room, samurais, just usually have to, didn't explain samurais, did we? Usually you have to wait for them to attack. Like that. But with Tempest, you can just kill one after the other. All of them, 5 in a row, no problem. I think normally you remember that in a less arbitrary light. And also new enemies, we'll see a bit more of them now. Like Splinter, I think, right? You go into the slow-mo, and then you can tell which one is the real one. Only the bullets from the real one can also damage you, so it's not that big of a deal. And now, about those ethical reservations we had,
we no longer
sacrificed them. Yeah, we sacrificed them for, I think, quite reasonable, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, unfortunately, something didn't die there.
Yeah.
Probably one of the melee dudes.
Yeah, and they just leave sometimes. They just jump somewhere else. And yeah, this room also with the drones. You just hop from drone to drone, which gives this a very, I don't know, bouncy feeling.
Yeah, the rooms of this level are very different. Just across the entire level, you have to do a lot of different movement, and it makes this level pretty near the end quite difficult.
Also, you're not supposed to have the shuriken in here. You're not supposed to be able to do that, but...
Oh, unfortunate. So I guess we should explain that. Joot sort of... It's an animation cancel that causes the jump link there to launch you much higher than normal. And that combined with S-taps allows for a much faster way up. However, Joot had trouble with it, so they switched.
Yep.
And now
just as with the shuriken, we take that one into the next room and just skip that entire room, which was the last room.
Yeah.
320 is still great.
Yeah. It's very different. That's also a moon jump, but it is done by dashing at the ground to cancel the animation and then jumping again, causing the same effect as using Tempest, just as you jump.
Yes, now we are heading to Mara, finally. The last boss, we're already there. That went way faster than I anticipated. And you already saw that Joot was equipping something else there, and we'll explain after it happens, I believe. Well, like we can a bit before, and we have a bit of time now. Nothing too interesting happens because Mara is just... It's a bit lackluster, the fight, to be honest. It's a bit Simon Says. If you just use the crouch jump alone, there's not a lot she can do to actually damage you. But yeah, if you get damage, you would die. That just doesn't happen. So what Joot equipped was, for the blink, that increases the area around the blink itself that deals damage. Because if you jump into her like that, you see you get repelled, you can't attack her yet. You have to wait a bit, wait her attacks out, then make her attack one of the generators. Then you can hit the arm, and then she loses 1 HP. So what you do is you equip the area upgrade for the blink module, and I believe what Joot is doing, you then just attack her, restart the level, and then the game registers that you hit Mara in the third last phase, and restarting the level is just so you avoid the cutscene that plays afterwards where you can't do anything.
Yeah, this is a... the skip we are going to do is infamous in the fact that if you do it slightly wrong, you may end up soft locking, or I guess it's more of a hard lock, isn't it? And as such, would have to restart your entire game, which kills your run immediately. And usually it only happens if your computer cannot handle running the game, unfortunately. But it is a very valuable skip, so we ended up making the decision to allow it.
Here you see, we already go for restart level, and during the fade out we attack her. Then when we fade in, instantly main menu, and last level unlocked.
Yeah, that is probably the safest version of that.
Yeah, it's what I also do because it's the most reasonable thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And in this Cyber Void, yeah, that's fair. In this Cyber Void, we actually have a dash. Would you look at that? Mm-hmm. Also, in case you're wondering what just happened, Joot teleported, but that's alright. It's the Young Will special, which is these platforms also are on a. Oh god, that is so painful.
Oh no.
Oh, when that happens, yeah.
So we end up skipping basically all the checkpoints. So any death sends you back very far in most places, unfortunately, and that's what you just saw occur. But this is the final level of the game, and with some story. After defeating Mara, our little AI friend in our head decided, I want your body. So he's trying to take us over, and oh man, and we are trying to stop him.
Yeah. Also, nice thing about the hardcore mode of this game, there are some grapples in the hardcore mode that are not in the base game, but they're still here. They're just not indicated. As you can see, they're still there. So, anyways, right, I don't think I finished explaining Young Will, right? So, yeah. When you stand on those platforms, they get teleported back to the beginning, and if you stand on them, you just get teleported with them, which is like a good way. Oh god. That was so unfortunate.
Unfortunately, Joot is experiencing what many people have experienced with this game. Balls.
Yeah.
It is a long pastime that has tormented every single Ghostrunner.
Yeah, it's also just choking in the last level, like I think many people can relate.
It is the most common occurrence.
Yeah.
All the time.
Especially in this mode, because if the last level actually was Mara, that wouldn't be an issue. Like you can't even choke there. Oh, that was risky.
All right.
Timing ends as soon as the crosshair is gone, which is now.
All right.
GG's.
That was an awesome run.
Joot, do you mind telling us what the time is?
Looking at the timer, it was a 42:35.
42:35.
Yeah.
Well, is that in-game or real time?
That's real time.
That'd be real time,
that's real time.
I'm guessing Joot has her splits up, but maybe not, so yeah.
Yeah.
39:45 in-game.
Oh, very nice. Sub 40. Great milestone.
That is
Any shout-outs you want to give?
Oh, to the entire Ghostrunning Discord, I'd say, because I've joined it like 2 years ago and they've been so supportive. It's really great, even if you're like a beginner and I had no idea about anything. It was great. and they're all really supportive people. They're really cute people. It's really lovely to be there. Even not Ghostrunner related, like we have an off-topic and everything, but it's just really nice. And I want to thank these people also because they're the reason I'm here today. So yeah.
Alrighty, thank you both very much for the commentary, and big thank you to Joot for doing the run. This was awesome. Ghostrunner is such a cool run to watch.